412 AD, 4306 AM. Construction begins on the massive Theodosian walls around Constantinople, ancient Byzantium. These fortifications would protect the city from enemies for exactly 792 years, until the Fourth Crusade in 1204 AD, when the Venetians scaled its walls. 1. The end of empire. 413 AD, 4307 AM. The Theodosian walls around Constantinople are completed. They would be scaled in 792 years by the Venetians in 1204 AD, but not destroyed. However, they would be ruined by cannon fire and destroyed in 1453 by the Turks, or in 1040 years, 520 plus 520, 1. The end of empire. 414 AD, 4308 AM. The Jews are expelled from Alexandria, Egypt. The last time the Jews were purged from Alexandria was at the revolts led by Lucullus in 115-116 AD. This year was 476 years since Rome annexed Judea in 63 BC. 1. March of the Titans. 415 AD, 4309 AM. Christian Archbishop Kirill of Alexandria had the Alexandrian library raided and texts of science, mathematics, geography, histories, metaphysics, and those deemed contrary to the doctrines of Christianity were destroyed. Agents of Kirill incited a mob, and Alexandrian scholars were abducted and flayed alive with oyster shells. The greatest female philosopher of all time, Hypatia of Alexandria, fell victim to the religious zealots, the mob grabbing her from her chariot, stripping her naked and beating her almost senseless before they scraped her flesh off with oyster shells. She was murdered inside a church. Hypatia was famous in her own lifetime for her achievements, commentaries, writings, and oratory. She was the torch of the Neoplatonic school and a well-sought intellectual whose opinions carried much weight among the learned. Her position on Christianity was positive, but she offended church officials by revealing its antiquity, gaining for an enemy the Archbishop Kirill. By all accounts, he was indirectly responsible for her death. 1. Atlantis in America. 2. The Secret Teachings of All Ages. 416 AD, 4310 AM. According to Archaix, by this time, the Christian churches of Europe and the Mediterranean were full of Huns, Suevi, Vandals, Burgundians, and other Scythians. 1. Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, Volume 4. 418 AD, 4312 AM. By treaty with Rome, the Visigoths settled in France and founded a kingdom in the southwest of Gaul, Aquitaine. After sacking Rome in 410 AD, the Visigoths were feared. By this time, many Huns had completely adopted Visigothic culture and were virtually indistinguishable from them. The founding of the Gothic kingdom in Gaul, which would emerge as the nation of France, was exactly 148 years after the Visigoths separated from the Ostrogoths in 270 AD. This 148 years being 1776 months, highly prophetic of the founding of the Anglo-Saxon French Empire in the West in 1776 AD, the United States of America. 1. The end of empire. 420 AD, 4314 AM. A Christian bishop named Abdas, fully expecting to die, burned down a Zoroastrian temple in the Persian province of Khuzestan. The ruler, Yazdgerd I, previously tolerant of Christianity for 20 years, changed his policy and now had Christians executed when they had refused to rebuild the burned temple. 1. The end of empire. 420 AD, 4315 AM. Bahram V succeeded his father, Yazdgerd I of Persia, and intensified the persecution of Christians throughout the Persian realm. Emperor Theodosius invaded Mesopotamia in what was the first Roman military action in defense of Christianity. 422 AD, 4316 AM. During the war between Constantinople and Persia, some 100,000 Arabs on their way to fight on the side of the Persians were the victims of something most unusual. They had been seized with panic, and in their terror they had thrown themselves into the Euphrates River. With indecisive victories, a peace was concluded between the Roman and Persian empires. While the bulk of the Roman forces were in the east, the Huns crossed the Danube and invaded Thrace, laying it waste. This was the 930th year of the Republic of Rome, since 509 BC, and 700 years after the Celts invaded Thrace and the Roman territories and Macedonia in 279 BC, won the end of empire. 423 AD, 4317 AM. Emperor Theodosius passes another edict prohibiting non-Christian beliefs, making exile and state confiscation of all property the punishment for anti-Christian sentiment. Priorly in 399, he had prohibited observation of the mysteries, cults, paganism, and all pre-Christian beliefs. 1. Freemasonry and its ancient mystic rites.